Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion. Today I'm playing my Gamora limited deck against Expert Drang. Expert Drang offers a few more wrinkles that you have to deal with, least of which is he's going to start with his spear already in play. That's going to be a priority for me to knock off. The +1 attack isn't terrible, but it will add up. More importantly, it gives him Stalwart, and I want to be able to confuse him to go down for a less anxious alter ego phase. Next, we're going to put Vadun's ship into play. I will get the Milano, which is going to make it easier for me to get that spear off. I'm going to shuffle in the Expert set, and I didn't notice until I got to editing in the standard video that my obligation was sitting off to the side. Shuffle that in as well. What I had done, I had intended to do setup correctly, in which case your obligation isn't in the encounter deck until you get to your setup. So I put it off to the side and then completely forgot about it. Shuffle this one. Comes in with 2. We'll shuffle my deck. This is event heavy, as you saw in the standard game, and it doesn't have a lot of setup. In fact, Keen Instincts is really the only setup pieces I really want to get into play, so it goes pretty fast. 6 cards. Conditioning Room is a setup piece that I like. I do want to get that Justice Served in, and honestly, Knowhere this early can be really good because any Guardian I draw from this point forward is going to also let me draw a card. So I've got those. I have to look at getting rid of this as well. And there's not a lot of threat on there yet. So I could honestly use all of those, or maybe save one, set the pace, and use my Wild from Milano to get rid of that spear. I think, because I definitely want to get Conditioning Room in as well. Let's see. Just because I want to try to get a double, I'm going to mulligan both of these, and while the order doesn't matter because this is not a thwart event, I'm just going to put forward momentum on the bottom. Now, I am going to want to get Conditioning Room into play, which means I can get that forward momentum right back. Let's mulligan those two. See if I can get a double. I did not get a double. Now let's use her ability. That is an attack, so it comes to hand. So, boy, I hate to waste that for Justice to play Knowhere. Let's use the Milano to play Conditioning Room. That's going to get me that forward momentum back. Let's flip up to Hero. Go ahead and get rid of that. And let's just mental. Yep, I've got to now. Physical to get rid of the spear. That +1 attack will add up over time, so I do want to go ahead and get rid of that. I do want to hold on to my Decisive Blow, so I'm going to use For Justice and Acrobatic Move for Knowhere. It's just going to set me up a little bit, and now if I can get any thwart event, I'm going to be able to shoot Decisive Blow off for 7. So let's ready. Draw 4. Drax is good to see. I didn't get a thwart event. 2 goes on and 1 counter. He attacks me for 3 and I'm going to take it. 3 and resolve this. Take 3 damage. And bad card, the villain attacks me for a 3, 4 more. So I'm down to 3 already. And you can see that if I had left his spear on, I'd be down to 1 right now. I'm not too worried about that because I do want to go down anyway. Let's thwart that off. Let's do an acrobatic move to do 2. I hate to use both of these doubles. I'm going to use both of those I'm not going to use both of those doubles. I'm going to use Strength and Milano for Drax. Draw a card with Knowhere. And there's Nebula, which is fantastic. Would be better if I still had some threat on there. Let's attack for 3. Man, I wish I hadn't thwarted that off. I can play Nebula. I'm going to go set the pace with that. Even though I can't play it this turn. Deck. And both of my set the pace are in my discard pile. So, let's find a For Justice. Yeah. Let's get a For Justice. So that'll come to hand. So that's setting me up for a good turn. Next turn. Attack for 2. And flip down. Now, are my set the paces? Nope, forward momentum was on bottom. Forward momentum is on bottom, but the next one will be set the pace. So on my next phase, I am going to be able to get one of my set the pace. And while we're here, let's look at this. That is a Think Fast, and normally I would not want that, but now that I have Stalwart off, I'm good getting it. So I did use Conditioning Room, so forward momentum comes to hand, and I gain 1. Now let's ready. 1, 2, 3. This might be a good time for Gamora's sword, especially against an expert villain. I usually use that for a resource, but it might be good in this case. 2 goes on, which means a charge counter hits. He's going to scheme for 2, 3. Give the villain a tough. This goes up to 5. Because he schemed, I resolve a charge counter. I deal 2 indirect and remove those counters. I'm going to put 1 on Drax and 1 on me. And then, after he engages you, I hate this grunt. After he engages you, if there are no other minions engaged, you'll face down and counter card. And that is the Warlord. Alright. First things first, let's look at her ability. That is a thwart, so I get to use it. Let's use Conditioning Room. The bottommost now is Set the Pace, so I'm going to get that and heal 1. And let's go ahead and recover 3 up to 5. I do have to get through a tough status. This should be a pretty good turn, though. Let's flip up. I'm going to start with Set the Pace. Set the Pace is going to remove 1 and deal 1 damage, which is going to ping his tough off. Let's do 1, 2 for Decisive Blow. That's going to deal 7 because I played a thwart event. Now things get hairy. Can get hairy. He now has 18. When he activates, I'm going to resolve a counter. So it's not just when he schemes now. And I'm going to discard 4 cards, and any minions come into play engaged with me. There's a minion. Not a minion. Not a minion. Not a minion. These guys are probably going to be the big problem here. Let's do 1 and Gamora's Sword for justice. I did pay a mental with my forward momentum, so I'm going to remove all 4 of those. And boy, I really don't want to take that damage to confuse, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage plus 3 attack. I'm gonna have to do some blocking. I can take 1 of those out. So do I take 1 minion out, hit for 3, defend and counterpunch? I think I've got to do that. So let's take this minion out. She goes away. Let's attack for 3. And I'll be able to use Drax to block the Warlord. That gains overkill, so there's really no point. I'll use Drax to block the Badoon. So let's ready. 1, 2, 3. Boy, I wish I had Groot a little sooner. That True Grit is going to be good, except it's going to leave me exhausted. Okay. 2 goes on the main. Resolve the charge up ability. Drang is going to attack for 3 plus a boost. I'm going to defend at 2. It's 3 plus 0. I do take 1 damage. And then after the attack, or after I've defended, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to use 4 Justice to play True Grit. And I'm going to play Counterpunch. So that is going to remove 2. And because it is a thwart, it's going to deal 1 damage. And then Counterpunch is going to deal 2. Taking him down to 12. I'm going to keep Milano unexhausted in case one of these cards come out where I can use the Milano to clear it. These guys are going to attack. Do I just take all of that attack, though? If I take all of that and go down, I might be fine, except if I go down, I want to think fast, and I'm only going to have 1 hit point left. So let's think about this for just a moment. If I can play that Groot, that'll be nice because I'll get a card draw, but I won't be able to do it this turn. Well, I can do it this turn when I go down, possibly. Okay. Oh, he attacked me. So that does go up by 1. Now, I've got 5 coming in. I think it's tough. I'm going to take all 5 of it. Go down to 1. Counter card. After he engages you or activates, resolve the charge up. So I'm also going to get 2 indirect damage. So just got to try to go all out. Attack for 3. I'm going to take that 2 indirect damage now, unless I can get Groot out. Let's go down. Let's use her ability. It is an attack. Let's use cross counter. It's going to gain me 2. Or gain me 1 rather, and this event, set the pace. I'm going to, it's a response. So 1, 2, 3 for Groot, which is going to draw me a card. Keen Instincts. I'm going to hold on to that. My thought right now is if I attack for 2, it's going to get rid of another grunt. Well, that's the one I'd like to get rid of, though, because it's going to do the charge up again. I've got to do this, though. Attack for 2. Get rid of this grunt. He's got 6 health. He can take my indirect damage. So hold on to both of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One way or another may help tremendously. Do I have both of my decisive blows in here? I think I've only got 1 decisive blow in here. Yep, I've only got 1. So there is a decisive blow lurking in here. Let's see if I can survive this. 2 goes on, which means I resolve that. Take 2 indirect damage. I'm going to put that on Groot. He's going to scheme for 3, 4, taking this up to 6. He activated, so I put a counter on. Warlord schemes for 1. Engineer schemes for 2 and puts a counter on. Okay, so that schemes. We're going to put a counter on. This comes in with 4. I can use Milano to clear a lot of that off. Now we get a bad card. He has Patrol, which may not be awful because if I can power through this turn, and I may not be able to, if I can get a decisive blow off of one way or another, I can win on my turn. And I've got Martinex to be able to... draw me a card as well. So let's look at the ability. That is an attack. Let's use Conditioning Room to get for Justice. Well, I wish I had a pivotal role. That would be awesome as well. Because right now I still don't have Decisive Blow. I do have a thwart event. So the question now, do I recover or do I just use him or use her to attack? How many cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One of those 11 cards is a decisive blow. And I want to hold on to that cross counter as well. So let's use... I'm just going to have to chance it. Go big or go home. I'm going to flip up. I do gain 1 with my Conditioning Room. So I'm going to flip up. I'm going to do one way or another. This all hinges on me finding a decisive blow. If I don't find a decisive blow, I'm kind of screwed. So I'm going to take 2 indirect, and then there's a lot of attack coming. So let's draw 3 cards. Pivotal Moment would normally be good, except that with this Patrol here, I can't get rid of that threat. Eros, give me a decisive blow. I've got 2 pivotal moments which don't do me any good. That's 2, 4, takes him down to 5. Oh, you know what? I might still have it. So I can use these for 4 damage. 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I can also get Martinex in, that's 9. So let's use a Justice Served and a Cross Counter. Cross Counter's not going to do me any good because I'm dead if he gets his attack off. Play Martinex. Martinex is going to draw me a card. And if this is Decisive Blow, doesn't even matter. Counter Punch. Okay, do I have enough? Do I have enough attack? I have enough attack. Do I have enough to play both of these? So, again, counter punches. I'm going to be dead before I can use them. Counter punch for pivotal. It's only going to deal 2. Because there's threat on the main. It's also going to remove 1, which I have to remove here. For Justice and Eros, for another pivotal, which again only does 2. 1, 2. I attack for 2. Groot attacks for 2. He's gone. And Martinex attacks for 1. Woo! Now I'm probably going to find some mistake in editing, which invalidates that. But that was actually really fun. That is a much more enjoyable version of Drang with this deck. I played, after I played the previous deck, or after I played Drang on Standard, I played him a bunch of times, and it was a really easy matchup, even with this limited deck. So I decided, let's go ahead and try Expert. And this is actually the first Expert game I played, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And it was definitely hairy, especially with his ability, popping the main there, which I don't like to do. So yeah, that was a really good battle. I'm going to actually post these videos back to back. You're going to see that when this releases. The standard version will post at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The expert version will post at 5:01. And I'm doing that because I want to put the deck list up and have both of these videos linked in the post, or in the description of that deck, so that you can go watch these through that deck list, or people who find that deck list can go watch the videos through there. So that was Gamora Limited against Expert Drang. Let me know what you thought. Hopefully I didn't do too poorly. I know I do a lot of mistakes, and most of the time when I find those in editing, I scrap the video and go back and re-record. That takes a lot of time, and some of my YouTube commenters have even said, hey, don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes. So if I find a mistake that isn't terrible, I'm going to let this one go. Thank you so much for watching today. Please like, sub, comment, all the good things that YouTube likes. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.